All right, so that's a look at the scriptures from the evidentialist perspective in terms of the reliability of the scriptures, the use of the scriptures, and that sort of thing. The second thing that our authors point out with regard to evidentialism is the uniqueness of Christianity. The apologist today is confronted with a myriad of religious opinions and options in almost every part of the world and a rising tide of religious pluralism. And so faced with these realities, the evangelical apologist must be prepared to give a reason for claiming that Jesus Christ is the only Savior and that the true knowledge of God can be found only in the Christian faith. And so they tell us that, as we saw in part 2, classical apologists generally approach this question by analyzing the worldviews of the major non-Christian religions, right? And so you say this worldview is inconsistent or, even, contradictory and that sort of thing. And so that rules it out kind of thing. So that's the classical apologist approach. They contend that only theism, the belief that the world was created and is utterly dependent on an infinite yet personal creator, is a philosophically viable worldview. So that is what the classicals attempt to do with regard to the uniqueness of Christianity. They examine the worldview of the other religions.
Evidentialists confront the problem of religious pluralism on two levels. First, they argue that the belief that all religions are basically the same does not take seriously the fact about the different religions. Anyone who kind of says this almost seems to be just kind of hand washing. Well, we all want to love each other. And so that's as far as I want to take it. I don't want to look at the specific claims of, Christianity, where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. That seems to be a very specific cutting off point for all the world religions. Well, for example, Francis Beckwith objects to the Baha'i teaching that all the world's major religions were inspired by God. He compares the doctrines about God taught by Moses, Buddha, Confucius, Jesus, Muhammad, and other religious founders and finds them hopelessly contradictory. God cannot be impersonal, personal, transcendent, polytheistic, pantheistic, monotheistic, and able to beget, not able to beget, relevant and irrelevant, all at the same time. Irreconcilable data gives us no knowledge of God whatsoever. There's an interesting take on Muslims. Muslims have this idea. Well, they're the people of the Jewish time, the Hebrews, and then the people of the book, the Christians. And so the people of the book are supposed to listen to their book. And then the claim is, well, the book tells me not to listen to Muhammad, so therefore it fails within that. But then it seems within the concept of the Quran is that just the Quran was presented to Muslims as kind of the last. He's sent messengers into other nations and other religious revelations, but it's only the Arabic Quran is final one. So they're just the last people to get their revelation. And so even in Islam, you have this kind of pluralistic idea that wants to account for all things, but it's only Christianity that says, no, we're kind of separate from everything. And so now we have to say, is it possible to be both a good Buddhist and a good Christian, or a good Hindu and a good Christian? Well, it seems that they're so at odds that to hold both would make your worldview go completely apart.
Right. Would be contradictory. Yeah.
Right.
Secondly, our authors tell us that evidentialists maintain that Christianity has a solid claim to be the only true religion because it alone can produce testable evidence of God's activity in establishing Christianity in the first place, right? So, for instance, according to Montgomery, what modern man insists on above all is a verifiable base for his faith so that he can bring some order out of the conflicting welter of religious claims. Christianity has that. Christianity has miracles, fulfilled prophecies, and other evidences that the God of the Bible is the true God. Other religions don't have these types of phenomena.
Right. All right, so the evidentialists want to make their case for God, and that's the portion we're at here. So evidentialists, like classical apologists, seek to offer arguments for the existence of God on grounds that are in principle understandable and acceptable to non-Christians. We all want to bring everybody in. That's the whole gospel. And so we want to meet them where they're at, which is kind of find out where they stand on certain things and then kind of use that to present the message of the gospel.
So put it on neutral grounds, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's where we all want to start. Neutral ground. It's possible. However, they go about this task, the evidentialists, in a somewhat different way. Well, first, they generally subordinate the classical philosophical proofs for God's existence to a different place in their apologetics, and a few evidentialists even reject the philosophical proofs as invalid and unhelpful. It's too complicated. People don't want to think about these type of things. Let's just present the historical details that they would get in any history class that they've taken in their Western schools for, all these years. And so you're just presenting them this case. Don't get into the P, not P, Q, therefore, little dot triangle. No, we don't need to do that. Just the facts, ma'am.
That's right.